Can you hear me on, can anybody watching Facebook? Okay, just a test for the sound. Are we okay with the sound? Test. How many people? I got maybe 20, 25 people here at the live office. We got 422 online. Is that right?
Online.
So I said 422.
428. Audio is
Okay, well, while we're waiting, so we just got some people here. Anybody do any open houses at all on the weekend? Anybody here? Open houses? Anybody? No. Open houses? Really? Okay. Anybody from home do open houses? Nothing there. Anybody give me a feel for the marketplace itself? Is the marketplace going up, going down, sideways? What's the gut feel? Oh, I'm talking to myself today. That's all right. I could do that all day long, right? Just don't answer, right?
Leases feel pretty ugly.
Leases feel ugly? Active? Really? Okay. So and how about sales themselves? So I know some people had multiple offers. I know we got all kinds of multiple offers. Nelson, you have anything going on the weekend there? Anybody?
Not specifically. But 3 properties in the office.
So Shiv has 3 offers, offer date today.
Yeah.
And I know, I know a bunch of people had multiple offers there. What I'm reading here is that stuff less than $1 million is getting multiple offers as long as it's an engineered price. Engineered price, I mean by you've deliberately priced it lower. Once you've deliberately priced it lower, you're going to get multiple offers. So when people say there's multiple offers, does that mean that the market's hot? No, it just means that somebody's engineered price and they're generating activity. Right. So is that a good strategy for today? I think it is, right? If you're gonna try to generate activity, but I'm talking about properties less than $1.1 million. Once you start getting the $2 million properties and the higher end properties, then I'm not sure whether that strategy works as well. Anybody know that? Anybody have any experience with that? Who's trying to sell any $2 million properties right now? Nobody? Okay. So it's about 1.1 or less. Your listings, what price range are those guys?
I have 1 to 2 under $1 million.
200 million? Okay.
1.2.
0.2. Yeah, and they're all multiple offers down. Yeah, good. All right. I don't know. That was a huge storm that we had on was it Friday? And guys are still shoveling snow right now. We had to we weren't sure what's going to happen with the office. We didn't have anybody come into the office because we weren't sure, right? But your street can get plowed what till Sunday?
Sunday 4 a.m.
So that was like 30 centimeters of snow. You were snowed in big time, right?
Our street was plowed, which is usually not within a few hours.
Really?
The afternoon was not.
And what about
It's very small street.
what about the wind drifts at the end of the driveway? Now that was huge, right? And the heavy snow. I did the old thing. I waited long enough for my neighbors to get their machines out and let them do it. Everybody do that too? They got the big gas machines. So Trev came out with their sales for February, which we expected were going to be. We expected it wasn't going to be good at all. I thought maybe the newspapers might have picked up on it more, but I didn't really hear a whole lot of press. I didn't hear any sort of news on the radio. Didn't really sort of read a whole lot of information about the stats. But the stats themselves are expected to be really tough. Because February last year, if you recall, was the highest price in the history of the Toronto Real Estate Board. So I was expecting to see a lot of bad press this time going around, but it seems to me like we're all getting tired of bad press, so it just didn't come out that bad. Toronto Star, for instance, they're saying here that Toronto area home prices dropped by 18% from last February. Sounds like a big jump, and it is. But the board itself is saying that the market itself looks like it's going to be in 2 halves. You're going to have the first half of the first half of the year and the second half of the year. First half of the year, part of it is 2022 fall, plus the 2 months so far in 2023, and they're thinking that that's sort of the adjustment time. That's when everybody's getting used to the interest rates going up. They're all starting to get used to the idea that the cost of borrowing money costs more. And the sellers themselves are finally realizing they're not going to get the giant prices that their neighbors got in February of 22. Right. So we're starting to see these things come on there now. We're starting to see it happen, right? I am seeing a lot of properties for sale today are a lot of distressed sales. I'm not sure she have any years of that case. When I say distress sales, I'm talking about people are getting divorced, people can't afford the mortgage. People are just, they just want to get out, they're moving, they're getting, somebody's passed away, we're getting all kinds of, estate trustee things. Anybody else noticing that too? It's just me, maybe, because I get all the phone calls, so I
You know,
think,
it's funny, Toronto sales prices went up 18%. Durham prices went down 28%.
right, okay, so that's interesting too, so
Yeah.
shifts, I'll read those
And all
stats here
the
too.
articles all the time. I don't know why they write like this. Katelyn Agents with the Oshawa, Carlington, and Durham. Why would they say that in the newspaper?
I don't know, it's like they say the East Toronto, they're
They
talking
don't
about,
say Durham. They say Katelyn Agents with the Oshawa, Carlington, and Durham.
yeah, I guess Durham is north, right? I know that if you're reading the Toronto Star, as far as they're concerned, East Toronto stops at East York. All right, doesn't go to Scarborough, so it depends on the article. But they're saying here that GTA house prices fell almost 18% from last February, the largest year-over-year drop on record. So how could you use that information? You're gonna use that information for what? For a buyer that you better think about buying now because prices dropped the most, or a seller saying it's not gonna get any worse? Don't know. It's hard to say, right? But someone makes a statement like that, it has to be a benefit for somebody. If the prices dropped the most in history, that means it has to benefit somebody else. I want to say it's benefiting the buyers. Right, because the properties are a little bit cheaper than what they would be. So if you got a buyer sitting on the fence, maybe don't know the times to move forward, right? Okay, so we're saying here that the total average price was $1,095,000. It's about 5% higher than the average price in January. So even though the prices are down 18% from February last year, they're up 5% from January. So that's curious. So you want to look at that?
This January?
Yeah, yeah. So this January is $1,034,000, and February is $1,095,000. So we've never seen a month-over-month increase like that ever. So that's good positive move. Why isn't that the heading? The heading should be prices increased 5% since January, not down 18% since February.
That's good presentation for the buyer.
Right? So you want to tell the buyers, hey, look, don't be caught up in this minus 18% stuff. The price went up 5%. So you wanted to wait a month because you're waiting for things to happen. Meanwhile, the prices went up 5% while you're waiting. Right? So Mr. Buyer, you might want to think about moving sooner than later. That's the whole purpose of this, right? Lots of people are seeing bidding wars. This guy here had 19 offers. First-time home buyers who shied away from purchasing as mortgage rates rose are returning to the market, along with people who simply need to move or have outgrown their homes. So the first-time buyers simply have to do it, and the guys that are sitting on the fence wanting to say, "Well, should I wait? Should I wait?" They're deciding to move forward. Let's get rolling on that. But there's still lots of people on the sidelines as well, right? Greater Vancouver had the same thing. Their sales actually were up 77% in January. Sales were up 77%. So this is Vancouver. It's important. So January sales up 77% from February over January, but they're still down 47% from last February. So they're seeing the same thing, where January, February, things have picked up. So this is the thing that they're trying to show here, right? We said here the average price in Toronto is $1,095,000. The average price in Vancouver is 1.123. So it's not a whole lot of difference, right? And remember, Vancouver used to be quite a bit higher. But it's funny about Vancouver. We talked about Toronto, Vancouver, Calgary as being the main markets. And in Vancouver, they had total sales of 1,800. So it's still a small market compared to everybody else, right? Running down our numbers here, we've got 4,783 sales, 9,000 were the sales last year, so you had a minus 47% drop. Active listings, we've got 9,600 active listings today. Last year we had 6,900. So active listings are actually up 38%. So Mr. Buyer here, the price have gone up there. You might want to consider making a purchase sooner than later. Inventory is at the highest, even though everybody else would tell me there's not enough inventory, right? You guys tell me is there enough inventory or no? There's still not enough inventory. That 9,800 or 9,600 should be 20,000, 15,000, but we haven't seen that in a long time either. Days on the market, current days on the market 2. Last year was 0.8. Last year the days on the market was 9 days. This year it's 22 days. So we know all those. So last February was a nutty market, right? Number of sales year to date, okay, that's fine, still minus 46%. New listings though is a bad thing. New listings, 8,300. New listings last year was 14,000. So that's a drop of 40% for new listings. So that tells us that a lot of sellers are still sitting on the fence for whatever reason, right? So you somehow have to get in there and tell them that now it's time to do
So what's the
something.
difference between active listing and new listing?
Anybody here? Oh, I saw a hand.
New is listed this month.
All right, the newbie's gonna ask the question. That's okay. I'm just trying to break the ice.
Never was on the market at all. After listing, we was on the market and maybe got reposted.
Active something sitting there for more than a month.
On February the 28th, 2022, there were 9,600 active listings at that point in time.
Uh-huh.
And during the entire month, there were 8,000 new listings.
8,000 new listings.
New listings. All right,
The
and a lot of those are,
cancel-
well, those are council relist too,
A
right?
lot of sold and then new listings.
Yeah, council
came out.
relist as well. Yeah, but it's not enough, right? Minus 40%. There's not enough new listings that came to the market. And we only sold 4,700. So the new listings came in at what do you say, 90, yeah, new listings were 8,300. We only sold 4,700 of the new ones, and whatever stayed there again. So it's not, didn't move at all. Just talk about what Shiv's saying here. So the average price right now for February in the 416 area is 1.712. So the average 416 detached is 1.7 million. In the 905 area, the detached is 1.35. As far as the what Shiv's talking about there, where the prices went up and down. So the prices in all of GTA, all properties of all types went down 18%. And I'm just so you know, I'm just looking at the market watch. You guys get the market watch. I'm just reading right off the market
That's
watch
all
if you want to do it.
traffic.
That's all trip at minus 18%. But if I divide it into the city of Toronto, the average price for all properties was minus 13%, and properties for Durham was minus 23. So the prices in Durham definitely went down quite a bit more
Prices
than
in 28 down.
which city?
Durham?
Yeah, if I take
Average was 888.
if I take Ajax, Pickering, and all of Durham, it's minus 22%. If I take just Ajax, it's minus 24. If I look at Pickering, it's minus 24, and that's it. Yeah, minus 24. So it's pretty close. In Oshawa itself, the prices were down 23. Well, actually 24, 23.7.
Average is
I think we get from the website, Durham website or something.
I don't know. So Durham's got his own stuff, but it's all taken from this stuff here anyways. And you can break it down. I'm talking, if I go to trying to find that 28%. Do you see 20% anywhere?
I don't know, that to this research. Average price is 888, 448.
Yeah, it depends what you're talking about, whether it's single detached or else,
And
right?
average
Average price according to my number is 801 for all Durham. Anyway, so we know that, right? So we know that the 905 area picked up quite a bit in February last year because that was the cheapest places in town, right? The average price in Durham was a lot cheaper. I'm sure Peel has the same type of thing. If we look at the Peel numbers, they're probably down in the 24s as well. And if I go down to your Simcoe, Peel. Peel, the average price is down 20%. So Peel and Durham, and we know that too, because that's all the cheap stuff was there originally, right? I'm gonna sort of go through different things. The spring market forecast is a market as unpredictable as the weather. So as we look ahead towards the warmer months, brokers, sellers, buyers, and would-be buyers are sitting on the sidelines. We know that. Eagerly watching the GTA real estate market for new signs of life. They're saying it's tricky to predict. Some headlines inevitably warn of doom and gloom, where others say it's positive. newspapers are generally doom and gloom, so our job is try to convince them otherwise, so that's why I'm trying to give you different numbers here. The figures don't lie though, even though it's, the sales themselves are down 44%, it's 23-year low for the same month. That's not gonna happen again, but again, they're saying that the second half of the year is gonna be much different than the first half. And that's a good thing. So that means the second half of the year is gonna be definitely a lot better than the second, because we're all gonna be used to it. We're used to the prices, used to the interest rates. Have you guys noticing that? Everybody's getting used to the whole thing? Are your buyers saying that it's time to move forward, or everybody's getting tired? I don't know. Do first time buyers have any hope in this market? Remember last week I talked about the people from Intuition, new sales. We're talking about how the market's positive, pre-construction's positive, good time to buy, best time to buy, especially first time buyer. So now this is Barbara Laylar, who's Baker Real Estate. And her heading is, the question is, do first time buyers have any hope in this market? And the answer is resounding yes, especially with the condo pre-construction. So she's going on, she's selling the same thing. She's talking all these positive things about the pre-construction. If you've got buyers that just can't afford it, why not, you buy pre-construction, it's going to be what, 2-3 years down the road. So maybe they can save more money by the time it comes time to closing, right? Pre-construction is having an issue with sales, just like resales. And resales, we said we're down what, 44%, and I think that the condo sales, they were down like 26%, new condos, and they're supposed to bring in what, 30,000 new units for sale this year. They've drawn that back down to about 25,000 or so. So the new guys are doing that. I know guys that have web pages that are generating pre-con leads, trying to generate pre-construction leads. I know that they've dialed back on that too. Some guys have actually turned off their web page just because they're not getting the activity that they want. So that's interesting to see what's happening on the pre-con side. But you still want to do it, right? You still want to get involved with that. We talked last week about a web page called Incom, INCOM, and that meant they've got a bit of a add-on that you can put to their web page for pre-construction if that's the game you want to get into. And that's certainly something to talk about. Last week, because the market's changed, I've noticed a lot of agents are now starting to inquire for lead gen as well, like agent locator and that. We've had about 2 or 3 people sign up for that. Agent locator is a lead gen site for not pre-construction for buyers, right? And so I think a lot of agents have gone that route too, where they're trying to maybe generate some lead gen through that. Has anybody else experienced that? Do you see those things too? Looking at Cardi here, no? Cardi, can anybody else ask you guys about that stuff? For the pre-construction that? A couple of people are doing that. Yeah, so I don't know. And then the do not call list as well for phone calling. That's something you want to do as well. If you're looking to way to different pillars, yeah, you got to think about that too, right? Whether that's going to be part of your plans. Just I'm gonna sort of bounce around a little bit here. MoxieWorks. If anybody's using the MoxieWorks for the email campaigns, anybody here using that? The MoxieWorks email campaigns, 1 or 2, 3, right? Don't forget that you have to reset the campaigns every year. They don't roll over into the following year. You have to go back in there and reset those. Okay, so just make sure that you've done that. Go to your campaigns and reset the times on those. Make sure you're doing that. And any other programs you've got out there, they're doing things like that. So get that reset. Which is ground zero for Canada's rising mortgage rates. Town of Milton, 80% of all people in the town of Milton have a mortgage, whereas in Toronto it's 57%. Nationally, it's 60%.
Durham is even less.
Less people have mortgages. I'm thinking Milton because a lot of people are first-time buyers there.
The average age is 35-year-old.
In Milton, that's right. That's right. It's very young group there in Milton there, but 80% of them have mortgages. And it's only 57% in Toronto. Doesn't tell me about Durham. Spike in, okay, the people here in Milton are saying they got a spike in use of the food banks and investors offloading properties and panic over approaching renewals. The recession's not here, but there's a lot of people on the edge. Household income in Milton's 138,000 and the average price is $1,006,000. So they're having issues there. That's a lot, eh?
28,000.
So a lot of people have got mortgages because they could. And then I don't know, I wonder if how much people in Milton are spin off from the guys from Brampton, that probably. I don't know. March 9th, we're expecting a mortgage rate increase, or are we?
I thought they were saying they're not increasing.
So we're not. So March 9th is, we're gonna find out for sure. Today is what, 6th, so the 9th is 6, 7, 8, what is that, Thursday? I'm reading that the indications are they're not gonna increase it. But they're still gonna make the announcement anyways, right? It'd be very surprising if they increased it. Sorry where it is now, right? Goes on to say here, and this is a good article, Toronto real estate prices just made the biggest jump rate since Toronto real estate prices just made the biggest jump since rates began climbing. So that's a good article too, right? And that's good for your sellers. The Canadian real estate correction. Is there a real estate correction? Apparently no one told Treb. House prices didn't just climb in February, but they made a 5-digit jump. So this is positive, right? So the start goes on talking about how sales are down 18%, and Better Dwelling goes on and talks about how it's the biggest increase jump in ever. That was that 5% increase from January to February. So if you've gone on your social media stuff and that, you may want to talk about what's going on, not the minus 18%. You want to talk about the plus 5% from January to February. The benchmark price rose. Everybody does that. Annual growth was lower due to the base effect. We know that because of the interest rates. And it's fine. Toronto Star has this, it's almost like a real estate hacks, right? But they call it house hacks. And this guy here is complaining here, saying that agent's job is to find a home for families. It's not their job to find properties for themselves so they can rent them out and buy 2 or 3 or 4 of these properties. So they're complaining that agents are buying 2 or 3 or 4 properties and renting them out during the time when we're having a hard time with supply. Is that true? I don't think that's true. Maybe 1 or 2 agents are buying 3 or 4 or 5, but I don't think so. How should I choose an agent? So I had somebody knock on my door the other day. They're asking about windows and how to get windows, like want to give a quote for windows. But I'm thinking if I want to go ahead and get windows myself, I'd probably get a referral from somebody, wouldn't I? What would you do?
What's that?
What would you guys do if you want to get windows for your house? Would you get a guy from knocking on your door to let him quote on the windows, or would you get a referral from somebody that you know?
A lot of people look at reviews, Google.
So when a lot of people get reviews and that, okay, so I'm thinking that real estate agents aren't any different. I don't know, unless you're farming,
No,
right?
real estate is different because when you're knocking on the door, now homeowner sometimes doesn't know anything. They say, come on in, you have a thing selling, then how good you are, you get the listing.
Mhm. And what we say, like 20% of the people do not have an agent, because what, 70-80% of business comes from people that you already know. That leaves 20 or 30% of people that you don't know. So if you're thinking that maybe door knocking doesn't work, I'm saying that it does work, because real estate is different than the other things. If you think that people are bothering you by knocking on your door and wanting to sell your windows, that's okay. But if it's house, it's a different thing. And if you're farming, it makes it even better. So if you're sending out flyers and then you're door knocking, then you sort of put 2 and 2 together there. So you got to think about maybe that as well, especially when the spring coming around. There's nothing wrong with door knocking, and I think open houses are a good thing too. Try to do open houses if you can. I think that's changed. Anybody that did do open houses would probably find they had, like, 10, 15 people through the open house. I wouldn't be surprised. Just guessing, right?
Open house is a great way to get business.
Of course, yeah. Somebody asked me about this, and it's funny because I brought it up as well. I've never seen this before, but somebody did it for $1,200. They're renting this place on Wellesley Street. It's a condominium. It's a 2-bedroom condo, and they've got an MLS, and they're renting 1 room in a condominium.
$1,400.
$1,200, and it's leased. So somebody found it. What they did say in there is master bedroom is already leased, so somebody's renting the 2nd bedroom. And they prefer a male for the 2nd bedroom. But I've never seen that before. Has anybody seen where they rent out?
MLS?
It's on MLS. Rent out rooms?
Yes.
Really?
Yeah, I've seen a few. Many of them.
Like $600.
I,
I
there
think-
was one which was cheap, it talked about 2 bedrooms, but then in the bottom, you read per week. Per week.
Claire.
Per week.
Not by the hour.
I just saw a posting for
That would be what for something.
room
A room.
in Guildwood, 1700.
But somebody here showing me an ad for somebody who's renting a room in, for 1,700. Is that a long term in the guild?
Didn't say.
There's a loud there, right?
So what's the difference between that and Airbnb owner?
Airbnb, this one you can rent as long as you live in here. You can rent the second.
Yeah. Yeah. So in this case here, the guy's not living there because he rented out the other part to somebody else. So
Maybe he's living here.
could
Because
be.
you can't rent unless you live.
Has anybody played around with that chat GPT, that AI stuff? Has anybody played around with that program yet? Everybody know what I'm talking about? It's chat open AI.
Went to a session on it.
Just it's getting more and more press and pretty soon it's free right now, but a lot of, I'm sure they're gonna start charging for it, but it's getting more and more press. A lot more people are talking about it, especially in real estate business or real estate world. So what did you, Katelyn, you did something weird the other day.
I've been.
So Katie's been using a lot to,
Alternate of Google.
rather than Google, it's very similar to Google, except that it writes things for you. So if you're not particularly good with words and pretty good with descriptions and that, you just go to this app. It's not even an app, it's a program. You say to it, well, I'll do what Katelyn did. It says, write me a
Like Instagram caption, be like, like your ETF flyer today, and I did 6 ways to grow your business in a down market. And I just write on the chat, be like, write me an article on 6 ways to grow your business, and it just like writes it. And then
You're gonna make us a session for us.
I might do a session too. I don't have to use
They
it.
write in 6 pages.
It just wrote me like 6 different ways.
So what Katelyn's saying here is that she asked,
You and summarize it.
yeah, so Katelyn asked this program to give me 6 reasons. What is it again? 6 reasons?
Or 6 ways to
6
grow your
ways to
business
grow.
in a down market.
6 ways to grow your real estate business in a down market, and the program wrote a 6-page suggestion
6
thing.
pages.
So like you can make Instagram captions, you can write blogs, you can make video scripts.
I asked you to do something a couple weeks ago. What did I, do you remember what I asked? Was it do with tenants? What was that for? Somebody selling a place, somebody selling a place that they weren't living there or
A
something?
high school kid could literally write
Anyways, it's pretty
What's the name
bizarre.
of the,
It's called chat, CHAT, open AI.
CHAT?
CHAT, and it's not an app though.
It's not an app?
No.
ChatGPT.
Or, yeah, go chat GPT.
GPT.
Yeah, George, Paul, Tom.
Also have one called like Jasper.
Too much information.
No, it's gonna save your life.
No, it's not.
Do you write blogs?
What they're worried about is, well,
What I'm saying, all these technology, what I'm saying is that too much.
Okay, well, here's the thing. How many of you guys like to write property descriptions when you put a house on MLS? Hate it? If you just write house in Pickering, 3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, modern, open concept, it will write an entire property description for you and you copy paste
So
it.
do you have to put the address?
no.
What's that?
You don't put the address. Then
You-
how does it know that what you have
You
updated?
just tell it.
to
So
tell-
or
If it doesn't-
then you can play with it.
if it doesn't have description, you can be like, located in Rougemont, and then it'll like add in a little bit about Rougemont. So like.
New windows, new floor, new kitchen.
You can put all that stuff in there.
Yeah, so just for those people, so those people at home there, so when you have a description on a listing that you're trying to describe, all you have to tell this computer here is, the program is, hey, we got a 3-bedroom house overlooking the lake. It's got new flooring, air conditioning, close to schools, close to park, whatever it is. And this,
Right, Pickering, and it will pull
and this, and then rate picker if you want, and this thing will actually bring out a description.
Artificial intelligence.
It's weird. It's really bizarre. When you read it, you
Time and like intelligence, basically, like it's just, I'm gonna do like a session on like ways you guys use it. Cause it will really help you.
on the negative side, of the business. We're starting to see some cracks in some real estate models, which I'm not surprised because we saw this back in the 90s as well. Discounters in that, they don't survive. And I'm trying to tell you that you earn your commission. If anybody here thinks that they don't earn their 5% commission, tell me otherwise. Has anybody ever sold a house that's been so smooth that you know everything's a fight and negotiations and difficult, right? Anyway, so you get these other guys around thinking that they know how to do real estate better than us, and they come up with all these different models and things like that, and they're okay during different markets, but in tough markets they disappear. So who have we lost in the last month? Desjardins shut down Fair Square. Fair Square bought out Purple Bricks bought out Comfrey, and Desjardins bought them all for $60 million, and they shut it down last week.
So
it's
can we get some lot about this and maybe half a page or when we go on listing presentation,
Could be.
and we can say, hey, look at it, this would happen when you and sometimes you could even lose deposit if they shut down.
Could be, but I'd be very careful with defamation and stuff like that. So you
No, obviously, sometimes you could even lose deposits in case if they just really shut down opposed to.
yeah, but see, that's not true because RICO deposit insurance will cover you.
Everything regardless of the amount. It does?
Yeah,
I thought they only cover up to a certain extent.
I'd have to double check that, but there is some limitation to it, but I
Yeah.
have to double check it is, but I don't think RICO. I know there's limitations with tearing on, but I'm not sure about this. The other company that went down was in Ottawa. You're not familiar with this company here, but and I'll talk a little bit more why I'm talking with this guy, but it was it's called Unreserved. So what they did is they came in with the unreserved bidding. They did auctions. And they came in, they did auctions for people. I'm sure they offered a discount too. They had like 170 employees. Like it was a major thing.
170 employees?
Yeah, and the company that was doing this was doing a online auctions for cars. So cars, you could go an online auction and buy cars. So they just took the same platform, took the car off, put a house in its place, and they started selling houses by auction. But the way the rules are coming in next month, and the way that the market has declined, they shut the whole thing down, saying this isn't worth it. Another company out there called Property, they were advertising on radio, TV for a while. They were buying property, so they were buying the seller's property so the seller could buy their next property without worrying about selling their old property. So remember the guaranteed sell your home, that type of thing. And they've turned that off as well. So that's not happening. Well, so here we go. So it goes back to the traditional, 5% commission. Traditional brokers always win the day. You're gonna have people that make some waves out there and say this is the new way. This is that's the old way of doing business. It's all new now. Well, not necessarily, and it's common. We've asked the girls now for typing offers on the vacancy sales tax. We put in a clause if you're typing offers saying that the seller is not subject to the Toronto vacancy tax. If they are, then the seller will identify the buyer if that's the case. So we're doing that on buyer's offers, and we put in 3 cities. We put in Toronto, Ottawa, and Hamilton. Even though we're Toronto, I know that people go to Hamilton to buy property, so we threw that clause in as well. And
go to Ottawa to buy property.
they're going out, yeah, okay. So I didn't put it on our listing side, I only put it on the buyer side. Just to recap, if somebody on a vacancy tax doesn't reply to the city or says that the property is vacant, then there's gonna be a 1% tax on that property. If that seller sells that property, say today, your buyer's not gonna know that 2023 taxes are gonna be an extra 1%. So we're trying to protect the buyer from those cases. So if you type your own offers, make sure you put something in there about the vacancy tax, all right? So be careful with that part. Also be careful with social media. Nelson and I were having fun last week. Did you meet that tenant?
Sorry?
Did you meet that tenant this weekend? Tenant with the,
Yes, I did.
and was he a nice guy? So we had this weird thing here. So Nelson's looking for a tenant, and he shows me this picture of this guy. And this guy's a nice young looking guy, but he's got this tattoo of a crown on his here. He's got some tattoo of something here, and he's got a snake going up his face and something down here. And that's his picture, because what Nelson does, and I'm sure you guys do, you Google the tenants, right? See what they're like, see who they are and that. So we're looking at this guy here. This guy looks like a thug, man, like, you know, with all this tattoos on his face, and then someone, Katelyn walked in the room and says, that's fake. The guy just put it on, he put all those tattoos on himself just to be funny.
Tattoo was on the pillow. And I was like, wait a second. I'm like, there's a flower on the pillow that's coming from his neck. And I realized it's like a snap
So
tattoo.
Katelyn not walked in and said it's all fake, it's just for fun. The guy did an Instagram photo with these tattoos on his face, then he would have not got the tenancy because we thought that was real. And then I'm thinking to myself, what if it's your kid or something looking for a job and he thinks it's funny doing the stuff here and he's looking for a job and some job guy looks at him and says, what's this, right? So even though you think you're funny and it's fun, you gotta think the bigger picture. And did you let him in or no?
Yeah, only after Katelyn said it was fake.
No, but did you rent the place down?
Did you
There we
tell him- Did you tell him about it? Did you say you
No,
saw
I'll get
it?
him to sign first. Get his money first and last, then I'll tell him.
But how did you guess it was fake?
I saw there was a neck part of it that had flowers on it, but then I saw that it was like on the pillow as well, like an outline of the flower, and I was like, that's not a real tattoo, it's just like a filter on his face from like social media. That kid play around with.
Digital.
Then I realized
Yeah,
it was
see,
still
see
fake.
the pro.
Well, Claire and I looked at it and thought it was real.
Yeah.
Had she not come in, I probably wouldn't even interview the guy.
That was that on Snapchat?
It was probably like a Snapchat filter or Instagram filter, but probably the wrong filter to have on your profile. As soon as I saw the photo.
Because if they say to you, they tell you to be careful with social media, right? You know, people are watching you, right?
Your job loss. They were pretty intense tattoos. There was like maybe going on his face.
Okay, so let's get into some tech stuff. You guys want to do tech stuff? Can I do a share screen or can you
Oh,
didn't plan on that?
it's not-
Okay, never mind. It's okay. All right.
If Santa can whip it
Okay, so it's really strange. On April 2021, I think it was, Reba announced how they're going to be making the changes to the Real Estate and Business Brokers Acts based on the Trust in Real Estate Act. So the Trust in Real Estate Act has come in and they've made these regulations, and it's in 3 phases: phase 1, phase 2, phase 3. Phase 1 was your personal real estate corporation. They allowed that, so most people have done that. Phase 2 is some other things going on. Phase 3 is where they're going to have some more regulations. They're going to be able to put instant fines on people. They can charge people with predefined fines and stuff like that. They can suspend licenses. They can make decisions, arbitrary decisions on penalties right away without having to go to the tribunal, all kinds of things. So they streamline things. That doesn't affect us that much unless you get in trouble. Just don't get in trouble. But what they also changed is they're supposed to come in with a manual, sorry, a brochure. I'll just read it here. And the problem I've had with it is that they told us back in 21 that they're going to be doing all this stuff, but I haven't seen anything since. And it's supposed to be effective April 1st. And that's only like what, 3 weeks away. So I really don't fully understand, but they're going to come in with, right now we have what, agency explain, right? Or working with the realtor, we have that they sign, but they're also going to sign another form, which Rico is supposed to be preparing for us, that they can sign to acknowledge what we do, what our job is. And in addition to working with the realtor, you're going to make it more clear. Right now, you're allowed to have customer agreement. So you do work with the realtor, and your client decides, you want to be a customer or want to be a client, right? And right now, if they're a customer, then away they go. There won't be a customer anymore. It's either going to be you're represented by a BRA or a buyer's agency agreement, or you're going to be unrepresented. So the information that they're going to give us is to make it clearly understand that the buyer is not being represented by anybody when he does. So it's not going to be a multiple representation. It's going to be single representation, but the buyer is not represented by anybody. So we want the buyer to understand that. So there's going to be some paper we need to sign in those cases. That'll be coming up supposedly April 1st. The other thing that they've done is they've changed, the bigger thing is they're gonna make open bidding allowed. So right now, we're not allowed to give the contents of an offer to other people, and they're gonna make that, they're gonna change that you can give the contents of offers.
Is that mandatory?
No, only if the seller allows it.
Buyer have no say?
Oh, and I'm surprised buyer doesn't have a say, because I think if I'm a buyer, I don't want other people to know what my offer is either. So there's gotta be a two-way street. But in any case, so that's coming down the tubes, supposedly April 1st as well, but I would have expected more communication from somebody.
But that means if there's two offers very close, the seller would say, hey, let's do that. Or is it, can it be done after?
Yeah, I don't know.
the
Yeah,
offer
so
is
these are all things we have to figure out, because nobody's given us any regulations
I
yet.
think the regulation might come up since seller has to decide before the offer is being presented.
I would expect, you know,
Yeah, otherwise
can't,
after this,
yeah,
the offer-
can't change the mind halfway through, right?
Yeah.
And so what Trev has done, and remember they came up with Realm, we talked about Realm. Right, and everybody's saying, why are we doing Realm? And they're saying it's something to do with the blockchain coming in. They've got this blockchain called Protect, which I'll explain later on, but later on mean a couple of weeks, but they're doing something with blockchain to help the transaction of the sales, make it more secure, things like that. That'll be coming down to us. But they've also got involved with Skyslope. You would have got invoices, or sorry, information on Skyslope. Or everybody opened up their Toronto MLS in the last week or so. You would have saw the information on Skyslope. Anybody look at that?
I tried it, like, I mean,
So,
I.
so
I
there's
watched the
two,
video.
so there's two parts to it, right? One is called Skyslope Forms, which you have available right now. And the next one's called Skyslope Offers, which hasn't been turned on yet. So right now you've got the Skyslope Offers. And it's kind of cool. You go Skyslope Offers, you bring it up, you put in the name where we represent the buyer, the seller, bring up the forms, all the different forms you're gonna bring up. You're gonna add clauses, so you can type your own offers. If you type your own offers with web forms, you can use Skyslope instead, or in place of, because the web forms is still there. And supposedly it's simpler, so you gotta go in there and try it and see how you like it for the offers, right? The forms in there. We are preparing template right now for our templates to be able to load in there as well. But for some reason, some people are reading the brokerage templates and some people are not. So
Yeah, they just responded to me and I still don't believe them, so I want to test it, but because we already have Skyslope and we've had it for 5 years, you won't need to access it through Treb. We just inherited broker forms within our existing profile. But if you click on it through Treb, you won't get the same access in your Century 21 access because you have it already. I don't know if that's true. I want to prove it out,
okay,
but
so
they're saying to access it through our own original brokerage account.
Asking you to choose a board. Like I said,
In the initial setup on Treb, which is
Right.
going to disconnect your two Skyslope accounts. You're going to have two accounts now to get the full advantage of our checklist and the forms and the offers in the future to go into your current today's Skyslope account that you've had already, not through Treb.
would it be linked? That's-
They're not being linked. Although I don't believe it because mine is linked. So I'm going to test it out.
mine's linked. Anyway, so it just came out last week, so we got some stuff, and there's a problem. We already have Skyslope. And a lot of people haven't used it. We've used it now for what, 5 years now, you're saying? So it is there. If anybody's interested now, just have to give you the email addresses. Jenny can do that. And it's all there. It's all basically all Skyslope is. It's just it's a Google Docs. It's a Dropbox. It's all. It just has all the forms there. That's all it is. So when you give us a listing, we load up in a Skyslope. You give us an offer, we load up in the Skyslope. So you can go back there 2 years from now, 3 years from now, you'll see all your docs there. All right. So it's all been done now. We've been doing that for some time now.
I
But-
didn't see much of a difference, you know, a two-pointer and that one, if you prepare the offer or get a sign,
No.
not much different. I didn't see much.
There's,
No.
there's 4 components. So there's,
So let me.
I didn't look at the.
you want to explain all 4 modules.
So, all right, so we got the forms. Okay, now the next part, and this is where we get involved with the multiple offers I'm talking about and how you can let everybody know the existence of other offers and what they are. Skyslope Offers has an option where you can actually receive offers on that program from all the different people. Let's say you have 9 different offers, you receive all the offers. And everybody as long as your seller allows you to do this, and the buyer as well, I think it works like this. I've got it on,
You wanna show it?
can you show it on this screen without, yeah, you can show it on
I
this,
can, just take me a second, I gotta, some
show it on this. screen.
logins.
I emailed you. Anyway, so when people, rather than phone you up and say, I have an offer to register, where do I email it? If everybody's in tune with the Skyslope, as far as I understand it correctly, they're gonna register the offer by uploading the offer into your Skyslope envelope. And the next guy's gonna do the same thing, and the next guy's gonna do the same thing, and eventually you're gonna have 8 offers in there, and everybody can see every other's offers. They could see the name of the agent. They won't be able to see the name of the buyer's name, but they're gonna see they're gonna see the name of the agent, and they're gonna see the offer date, and they're gonna see the closing date and the deposit and conditions price, everything,
So that's the whole offer.
Basically, the whole
It's a
offer.
buyer's name.
except for the buyer's name. And other fancy terms, right? And then basically, you're gonna be able to see all these offers, and you're gonna be able to pick which one you want and accept it online, and away it goes.
But
wanna
what
be able to
happens if there are multiple offers and someone says, oh, I can see this, I want to go higher?
Let's,
It
come
can
on,
happen.
come on
They
down.
can't, that's the whole idea. of
That's the whole idea. Right? And what this guy here,
You
that
can see the conditions, no conditions,
Yeah.
everything.
You wanna what?
terms,
But that's only if seller allows.
only if the seller allows, and if the buyer allows too, which I've heard the buyers.
Yeah.
Get into it. I can show people here, but.
Just show people, we won't be able to show, we'll just, people at home, we're gonna give you the link, you can
Yeah.
show it at home. I wanna show the people here just so we do. You just got that little thing I did, that little 2-minute thing.
Yeah, that link doesn't link directly to it.
So you gotta go down, scroll down. And use a watch in action, hit on that. Start from the beginning. Now, this is an American, it's the United States, it's right for the American site.
Yeah, it was the house,
Well, they did it for different reasons. Can you pause that for a second? Americans did it for different reason. I'm not sure about auction off, but they did it for discrimination. And I think this is a great idea for leases. Why would you have to put the leases name or their photograph on the lease? Right? It's just here's the offer, here it is. So same thing, multiple offers, you don't have any names there. So Americans are talking about diversity, they're talking about fairness. That's what they're talking about here.
really, the American time.
They can see it.
Let's start again.
It's just good to even have a lot of offers to keep them organized.
Okay, so what most people do right now, this is no different, don't we all freak out.
What do you?
It's no different than having an Excel sheet or what I saw when I used it last week, 21 offers and you had stickies, right? And they had all the offers here and these sticky. It's the exact same thing except it's on here instead of on your desk.
You have a 14-inch screen, you want to see all these things over there. I mean, that becomes really a nightmare.
So how do you handle 21 hours without getting it?
You don't. Price it higher.
My offer sold by the price, and the agent called, what's happening with my offer? How much is your offer? Okay, 987, let's see, 987, okay, this is additional.
But I like doing everything on an Excel sheet. It's just easier.
That's the thing, Excel sheet sold by the price. sorted by the price,
We
not
go
by
by
the agent.
technology, but everything is getting more
That's what I
complicated. Things are
So
getting
my-
easier. Technology.
What if they have a
easy,
story?
Not
Put
easy.
that story in
I
there.
don't-
Add the notes. Note section. I like it.
So nothing changes. No, there's nothing mandatory. You don't have to use this. You don't have to do anything. And then I don't even know whether this is gonna be even offered here in Toronto. But I think
And
it,
this one's
It's
sorted
coming.
by itself. It does sort it, right?
no, you can do it. No, you can move it around.
You
You can sort it by offer. You can sort it by name. You can sort it any way you want.
This is by pricing.
You can.
Right.
You have everything you want. probably.
But maybe they moved around. Maybe they moved it around, right? But anyways, but you had two screens there. You had like the Excel type sheet with the line by line, but you also could look at individual offers. So this all goes back to the realm, it goes back to the Skyslope, goes back to blockchain and everything's sort of all connecting a little bit here. We're starting to see it now. So, and I was wondering how this was going to happen. When Reba allows us to do auctions, there has to be some kind of software that'll make us, make that happen, right? And this may be it. Questions?
It's a lot of text.
Congratulations, you're gonna.
Whenever I read this stuff, I always think about, okay, my new guys are gonna love it, my old guys are gonna hate it.
That's for sure.
Right? And then some people are still going on with the Authentisign, right? Trying to figure that out. So this is gonna be more fun, right?
Can you explain the 4 modules of Skyslope? Just
Okay, you
clear.
can explain it. So the 4 modules of Skyslope.
Yeah, so just because there's a lot of different Skyslope modules. So there's the checklist component of it, which you have right now, which is putting all your documents into a checklist, so you know what's required. There's the forms component, which you have right now in your current login, but it is also through Trev. So we're going to clarify that, but there's checklist, forms, there's a digital signature component of it. So similar to your Authentisign, DocuSign, there's a DigiSign within Skyslope, and now there's Skyslope offers. So there's 4 different components of Skyslope. And we have all of them except for offers coming soon.
Congratulations, you're gonna have a lot of questions.
Great, no problem.
I suspect it's gonna be, I think probably less than 5% of the people are gonna use them.
You still have our front desk.
Less than 5%. So don't get all freaked out because you think, oh, I have to do it. I better learn it. No, and learn on the fly.
And that's why we do it for you.
And
You still need to enter all data manually.
well, no, if you're going to type in an offer, all you do is with the, yes, you do manually, but you put the MLS number in and it'll pre-populate the offer as much as it can.
Front desk is still gonna be
You
a
can
nicer
also save
service.
your reference of the closets.
If you're typing, yeah. So in this case, this is receiving offers. If you're typing offers, yeah, you can save your templates.
Closets and save.
Save your templates, right?
Yeah.
Then if you even out the multiple situation. You kind of have a choice, like if you want to show them to other agents. or
Yeah.
Don't want.
Yeah, your seller's gonna tell you whether you want to share it or not share it. If my seller says to me, what do you think? I don't think I want to share it. This guy here talked about this guy in Ottawa that was doing the auctions. In the article, it says right there, he says, when I was buying a house, I had to pay $100,000 more than what I wanted to offer, and I don't know whether it was $100,000 more than the next guy or $1 more, right? So he wants to know. So he's trying to save money for the buyers, right? Which is good, but we represent the sellers. I want that $100,000 more.
Who sell us will not agree anyway.
They're gonna ask us our opinion. Right? They're gonna say, what do you think? And I'm thinking that I don't think I want everybody to know, but then the buyers want to know because they want to get it cheaper. We represent the seller. So there's gonna be a bit of a conflict going there. We'll see how it all shoots.
But do you think people would get emotionally and tied up with it and say, go an extra 10,000, go an extra 10,000? Where they would just come-
Yeah, you don't know, right? So people might get caught up in the whole
Yeah.
FOMO thing there, and then maybe they'll get up to $100,000 anyways, eh? You don't know.
That's what I'm thinking.
Do the same thing anyways, though. You're gonna give someone the last chance and then that's it.
Yeah.
Except that the less chance is gonna be $1 more, not 100,000 more.
But.
So then we'll just keep doing 20 rounds.
You can also tell people,
Pick the
okay,
top 3.
you have one chance to approve the offer.
Correct. Yeah, instead of going
And
all,
let's say 3 top offer, one improve, everybody see that? Somebody just waiting for the last minute,
Yes.
Well, yeah, it's like
they can't hold it for 5-10 minutes and delay.
what's that other website that does that? eBay?
eBay, yeah. eBay.
Yeah, it's not an eBay bidding where clock comes down and then the last bidder goes in there and then the time's over and he sneaks in a bid, right? but why not? It could be.
Well, the,
If you're in charge, why not?
no, but can you hold the pricing last 10 minutes?
Or in the middle, get the seller not to disclose, so have it disclosed for the first half.
Yeah, if you're,
Yeah.
I'm guessing if you're the listing agent, you
Why not?
control the terms.
Yeah, I do whatever I want.
No, seller cannot say last minute, say, I'm not disclosing anymore.
Why not?
I don't,
What's wrong with that?
I'm just saying that the law.
I don't know.
Law will not
Yeah,
allow.
I think you might have a lot of problems with that.
You mean first disclose and then say
Change their
no?
mind.
Yeah, the last round, see like, okay, no, you know what, we're not gonna disclose it. Last round.
There's gonna be so many ways that people are
Yeah,
gonna,
exactly.
trust me, people are gonna people are gonna find a way to.
Agents,
I think that to get the best.
he has to deal with all agents. Seller is not going to talk to anyone.
Not disclosed.
We have
That's what
to
I'm
deal
thinking,
You
yeah.
get to see 95%
Not
of costs are.
disclose,
No,
5%.
the seller.
not
Then
disclosed.
what about buyer? What choice?
Hey, people do care about the buyers, okay, Dave? That's who buys the property.
I don't know.
Yeah, don't have any reason, you're not a buyer.
Anyway, so don't get all freaked out about this new Skyslope thing here, but try it, right? If anybody, well, I still prefer type offers anyway, so we're still doing offers downstairs. I don't know if we'll, I think it's that lower up.
Are you saying this is for companies who don't have a front desk?
EXP.
Yeah, it could be, yeah. A lot of people, a lot of agents like to do their own offers. Lots of agents do their
Yeah,
own
you
offers.
can hear a lot of agents.
Yeah, a lot of agents still do their own offers.
It's not like it 10 years ago.
But we still do most of them.
Is it?
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense. I mean, why would you do it yourself when you have the staff do it downstairs in half hour? Yeah, I mean, why, and then have the clauses that we give them too, so so it's a little easier for you to make sure it's that way. I wouldn't. Yeah. No. Okay, now, and Trevor also did the Hood Q, which is the neighborhood news. Make sure you sign up for that. And they also have the Altus, which is out there. You want to find out about what's going on with your listings. Everybody knows Altus. Altus used to be Realtor Link, where if you have a listing, you want to find out what realtor.ca traffic you've had, all the different websites, all the different traffic, you go in there and see what's happening there and give your client a report on that as well. So you've got properties that aren't selling and you want to be able to show them everything that you've done. You can go through the Altus and it'll do that as well. And then Q, that's it. Skyslope. Pravesh's got a client that is selling, has a franchise. And I haven't seen this before, but they're offering $10,000 finder's fee for anybody that wants to start up a restaurant. It's a burger joint. It's called Odd Burgers. It's a plant-based vegan hamburger joint, if there's such a thing, right?
How big is it? Do you have an agent?
All right, so it's a vegan thing, so it's definitely a different style. There's a bunch of these things throughout the place, and Pravesh here's got the information. It's a $10,000 finder fee. If you
How
have
much is
somebody, franchise fees are about
Franchise fees are $35,000, and it's basically a QA shop, quick service store. About 400,000 per shop.
Okay.
So basically all the people who agents, we just get the customers or clients and leads to us. And then you give them a remuneration of $10,000 through our office. So, I have the rights for the whole Canada. So it's 100% legal register and ESX listed company.
good.
We
Okay,
have about 10
Do you have
10
any
to
in Toronto
12
right now?
corporate stores and
Do
we are
you
open.
have any store in Toronto right now?
Yes, we have, Vaughan, Whitby, we are opening in Oshawa, College Street in downtown, Brampton, Hamilton, Oakville.
so it's a new franchise. It's got about 20 franchises out there already, so it's pretty good. So
about
$35,000 franchise fee, sorry, is the setup fee, and was it 10%, 6% royalty fee?
Royalty is 7.5.
7.5 royalty fee and a $10,000 finder's fee for you
2.5%
guys. All you have to do is give the name to Pravesh and he'll do the rest.
Correct, exactly.
So
Run the whole
because
franchise.
I'm sorry?
Run the whole franchise for us?
Yeah,
I thought this
cost
is,
buyer is a 400,000 plus purchase.
roughly about that, plus HST on that. But you require 20 to 30% down payment. The rest all is like small business plans
So
by the
they
government.
arrange a loan for it.
Yes, correct. We will do everything. Building up.
I was,
product.
So I talked to Pravesh there, he's got something going on there, so I'll just carry on for a moment here. So I was talking to an agent about electric e-bikes the other day there, and I came across this article here, this is fun. And you got the ride share downtown, you got those Bixie bikes downtown, and a small percentage of those are now being electrified, so they're making like electric motors. Tell us, I don't know who it is, but it's the bike share, the Bixby bikes. So what's happening there? So they're trying to get a fleet of electric e-bikes rather than just the pedal ones. And what's happening here is that all the downtown couriers are taking all the e-bikes.
They're renting them?
They're renting like anybody else, but it's better than buying one. And then when when the battery dies down, they just put it in the thing and get another one. So now,
Came up with the bike 25.
so now they're complaining here that they're not paying their fair share of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Costco just came up with it.
Anywhere, right?
Costco just came up with the e-bike, $2,500.
Is it a Kirkland?
Well, I don't know what the.
Eagle,
brand is.
it's an Eagle
No, but
bike.
Many of the people are selling it. But this it runs really long.
Oh, okay, well, oh,
It's Canadian made bike.
Go, the distance is 80 kilometers?
It's on the battery, the full battery, and it goes
how much it cost?
45.
100.
That's the name of it.
This is one on two.
Okay, so last week, that's the last thing there. So what do you got Wednesday sessions?
She's gonna do.
Okay, so Jane's gonna do CMAs from MoxieWorks. Okay, so we can do MoxieWorks CMA if anybody wants to do that. That's good. Last week we had this girl here, Lavova. Novel. And she talked about the listing lab and sort of different attitudes. It's actually a good session, right? A lot of people saw it, a lot of people made sense. So it's been saved there. So go back and have a look at it again. And come here and explain this thing to me again.
Explain the six levers.
Sometimes you get trainers that you fully understand. Sometimes you get trainers that you don't, right? And this one here was a little confusing for me. Nelson, did you listen to them? Did it make sense? So for me, for some reason, it didn't make sense. And then other people came to me and said it was the best one they ever saw. So,
My right brain people would like her.
okay. But one thing she's got here, which Kay was trying to show me, was your business. Okay. So you've got your business. So you've got your cold calling. I guess you got your pillars, right? And then you have your relationships, and then you have your marketing, and all three sort of have to go together. Just explain what this thing is.
Yeah, so Jess, she's part of the listing glam. I know this is like her main program that she talks about. So you guys can actually get this for free online. I'll give you guys that later. I know it sounds complicated. So she basically just talks about 3 different ways to really grow your business she talks about things such as relevancy, intimacy, and omnipresence. So she's got like a lot of charts and stuff like that. And it can be confusing to people because I think most of the stuff she's talking about is from a social media perspective. But I also think you can use it in any perspective, like both old school strategies and new. But relevancy is just basically saying, in terms of like your content that you're putting out there, is just showing that you're like knowledgeable, you're relevant in the industry, you're giving advice like on how to buy and sell properties. So you're making yourself relevant to people that you are an expert in your field. Intimacy is the one that a lot of us real estate agents forget to do. And intimacy is really letting your audience or the people that you're trying to reach know you on a more intimate level. So not just as a sales representative, but like your family, like what do you like to do? Are you going through any rough times in your life? Did you have a new baby come into your life? Like very intimate parts of you, which a lot of real estate agents neglect to do. And she's talking about how you shouldn't. So when you go into a listing presentation with people like this, so on social media, for example, it's very easy to share like more intimate sides of your life versus like sending postcards to somebody. You're not obviously going to send like a birth announcement or anything like that, But on social media, you can let people a little bit more into your personal life so that when you do go to a listing appointment, they almost feel like they already know a piece of you. And it's a little bit easier to get that contract signed because they're already like, yep, I've been following you. I know what you're all about. I feel like we connect on a different type of level that's not just real estate related. It could be charitable things that you're doing. It could be anything. Like, I'm not saying you got to go on camera and cry all the time and like talk about like your real sad, intimate moments, but I mean like the happy moments in your life. Did your kids have a wedding? Like more of those intimate moments. For example, like Carly and Sanik got married this year, and we would post that on our social media. And instead of people being like, well, how's the real estate market? They'd be like, I saw that wedding you guys went to. So like they have like this intimate thing, like they feel like they know us kind of thing. So she's really trying to add some intimacy into your relationships with people that don't even know you. And then when you get to that table, you can do it. The omnipresence is the third part of it that she talks about. And that's really once you've captured these people almost like as your viewers in a way, or your followers, now you want to kind of follow them around. And there's different ways you can do that through being on different types of platforms. Like you're on Instagram, you're on Facebook, you're on TikTok, you're on LinkedIn, whatever it is. Maybe you're in their flyers, like you're all over the place. But there's also a paid ad portion of it. One of the things I liked, what she said last week was, and I get this question all the time from agents on how much money they should be spending on social media ads. And she said, if you're not making $100,000 organically, you have no business investing money into paid ads because you don't have that foundation to your business quite yet. So like, people don't know who you are, but once they do get to know you, now they're going to start to see you in like sponsored advertisements, and they're going to see you, and they may see you on billboards. They may see you like following the internet. I'm sure people have been like shoe shopping, for example. You maybe Googled a pair of shoes and it's like following you around the internet everywhere now. If you ever Google Jess, if you like me saying this, I'm sure it's going to start to pop up all over my Instagram now. She follows me everywhere. And the other way she gets it, not just social media, she actually has this booklet, which you guys could do with buyer and seller guides, for example. She collects email addresses. So now I'm also on an email campaign with her. So I'm getting emails from her every day. I'm seeing her on my social media platforms. I know her. Like, I don't even know this girl. I've met her once. I know that she like lives in the Bahamas with her husband, and she talks all about her personal journey on here. But it's just like a more, I don't know, it's a more personal way of doing real estate. And that's her shtick. It's not for everybody. Some people don't want that form, but I think it's a pretty good program that she's selling. I know USAN's part of it a little bit. Am I saying it correctly? A little bit, kind of what her shtick is. So just showing that you're a real estate agent, you're in the industry, you know what you're talking about. You're a personal person as well that people can relate to. And then you're also good at marketing yourself, and you're just showing up everywhere. And it's similar when you're working with past clients. You're always trying to remind them that you're still in the business. You're reminding them that you still want it. And there's multiple different platforms. But the one that she teaches the most is obviously social media. Does that make sense? She has.
Does she teach it or does she do it?
She's a coach. I know you say would know more. I think she gives you the outlines of everything. Like, so if you're doing Facebook ads, I think she'll say, this is what your ad should have in it, but I don't think she's going to do it for you, but she'll give you the outline of what you should do. She's also a coach. So she has a coaching program. I believe it's about $10,000 a year, but it's not like an every year kind of thing. I think it's a one-time fee. You pay for it. You're part of the community. And then if you want to be part of different coaching events she hosts, then you pay for those as well. But she's just kind of a different, she just has a different spiel on all of it. But we have it on YouTube. So if you guys want to watch last week's session, I would. And then she has a Facebook group called the Listings Lab. And I think that's a pretty valuable group that she's got there too. So does that help? I don't know if Claire's bought into it yet, but
I don't know this.
I think it's the new school way. of
Okay,
doing
and
this.
again, I don't want to scare the old folks here, but what you just said there was no different than farming.
Exactly.
I mean,
Social media part.
The only
social
thing
media
that
farm,
we're
but
missing from
to put it in simple terms, if you're going to do a geographic farm, you're going to send out flyers to a farm area. They're going to phone call the area and door knock the area and send out another flyer. Maybe do a open house in the area, door knock the area. Like you're going to just do everything, right? And you maybe have a
Now, the only thing
the old
that's
stuff,
missing
but
from most farming
it's exact same thing in the social media, but exact same thing, except you're adding like somebody got married. Right? Basically the same type of thing, right?
Or you could say like you're hosting community events. people are getting to know you on an intimate level, in person, in a personal atmosphere. So like there's different ways.
let's say I live in in Whitby and Major Oaks and Pickering, right? And I want to find out if some person has created a community Facebook. What do? Just search for Major Oaks Community Group or Major Oaks Homeowners Group or something, whatever else, and I would try to get into that group myself.
So she had these, like her listing blab is basically like having a community group, but it's like not a specific geographic location. It's real estate agents are in her little group. And then that became her community. She's got like 30,000 followers in this community. She's got 80,000 on Instagram. So, and when she talks about growing her audience, she doesn't mean like email addresses. She actually means followers. So she's like growing her follower list by 100 people just to grow that too. Which could be your mailer list.
So I'm just trying to separate, like, she's a superstar at this, obviously, so I'm trying to think the guy that's starting
Her
off, so.
point is just move people to the online stuff because it's more automated and quicker and you can do it from home and it doesn't cost as much money as the traditional way.
Anyways. So create, so what do you do? Make sure you got your pillar and make sure you're going to, you know what you're doing, right? Excuse me.
I have one question. There's a 2 years ban for foreigners buyers to buy, right? They're thinking to amend that sooner, and then I heard that on TV that I guess something like foreigner builder, they are not allowed to build, and if they make money, they have to pay something like this. Did you hear?
Yeah, so, yeah. What's the question?
Question is like this, that is it true that they have to, like, they stop,
So it's, okay, so what's,
they
yes,
stop building in downtown, so many buildings.
yeah, so they've done it already. So as far as a 2-year ban, it's a 2-year ban for everybody, and a lot of people are saying there's unseen circumstances when they made that decision, and the unseen circumstances are the developers that are foreign owned. Also, now they can't buy property because they're not allowed to buy property because they're foreign. And I think even if you're 10% of the corporation's foreign something, that they don't qualify. So they're trying to get that changed. I haven't heard where it has changed, but they're raising they put their hand up saying it's not fair to us. So if they change it, that'll be good. Anything else?
Yeah, there's one more thing.
Okay.
Before meeting or after the meeting, maybe 10 minutes, Mike Ferry motivational speech always motivate you instead of doing a lot of social media and everything, do the right things I described, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
So Mike
you've been
Ferry,
thinking about-
so MikeFerryTV.com, right?
No, I'm just saying that that's to motivate us. That's to motivate.
Well,
Like
the
you
problem-
used to
okay,
do it before,
Here's
right?
my problem with Mike Ferry. Not my problem, but my issue with Mike Ferry is that he's getting old and the younger guys looking, who's this old guy?
Oh,
No.
Am I right or wrong? I mean, I don't know.
Most days.
still going to a seminar and paying so much.
I don't know. And he tells everybody to phone call, and meanwhile, nobody phone calls.
I think all the stuff still good.
I think it's good too.
It's still good.
It's still good, but I mean, she was an example, right?
Yeah, she is a Mike Ferry buddy.
Just want to say something about the open house. We had 5 open houses this weekend. And one of them, my staff made a mistake. They put a signs open house Saturday and Sunday. It was only supposed to be Sunday, Saturday. And no one was available on Sunday because we had another open house on Sunday. That's why I'm not doing it. And without any advertising, just put a realtor.ca Saturday night. We have still have 20.
Yeah, nice. And they also,
1.250.
and did you pick up any buyers on the way?
I got one listing appointment. I did myself, so I got one listing appointment. And I think a couple of buyers, I'm not sure, I don't follow up, I did to start. A couple of buyers showed interest that they're not working with the buyer and they're.
So open houses are good. I mean, 20 people, that's
Saturday, we had a
very
50.
strong. 50 people on Saturday, yeah, nice.
That day, I was going to cancel it, but Saturday we still had 50 people and 7 another one, and 17, 18, the third open.
Yeah, nice. All right, I think next week is March break. We're still doing Monday meeting, but we're still March break. And then we've got the awards thing. If everybody signed up for that, Central 21 sent the $60 where it is for the awards event on the 29th. But we are doing our awards event on the 26th of April. So we'll have all the hardware in that. So I'm not really sure how it's going, but obviously you want to go there, you certainly can. And Brian Rush, you guys got emails about Brian Rushton passing away. Brian Rushton was CEO of Central 21 Canada. Died of pneumonia. It's too bad.
Sorry?
Yeah.
He was gonna retire. He's gonna retire this August. It's a shame. He's gonna retire this August and got himself all set up, ready to go. Sold his boat, bought a place down in Palm Springs, and then passes away. Right,
How old is he?
69.
Was that late? What is it?
Yeah, 70 in March. Yeah, this month.
Yeah, exactly.
Brian Rushton. Right? Yeah. Brian Rushton. Okay, folks. Anything else?
Oh, I have a listing coming up, 5 lakhs for 650. National. $4,400.
What's the cap rate?
650, but what do you, almost 8%.
Yeah, but you're trying to get 1.2 million, though, right?
No, 650, no, you're gonna sell for 800, 750. This is for 650. Our
Okay,
target
folks.
price is
All right,
750.
we'll be good. Okay. Take care. We'll see you next time.
I don't know the address, but 95.
And I'll send out that link.
We get this.
I don't know.